Welcome to A Woman's Brew, where women talk about beer. In today's episode, we're rejoined by Kelly from Good Chemistry, but this time it's to talk all about She Drinks Beer. I'm Joanne, and this is Tori.
Hello, hello.
And we're two beer-loving women on a mission to get more people drinking and talking about great beer. Come join us. Right, adding to our ranks of people who have been on before, we got the lovely Kelly back. Hello.
Hi, how you doing?
Welcome.
Thank
for
you.
joining us again.
Yeah, slightly different to when we last spoke,
Yeah.
when we were obviously in person, but also at Bristol Craft Beer Festival in June, and we were all absolutely boiling. And now here we are, all in,
Freezing.
jumpers and inside, and middle of November. Yeah. I preferred the other one.
I've got my heater on.
Oh yeah.
Me too. I've got my heater on under my desk right now because I'm so cold. I prefer that. That's why I try not to complain when it's really hot.
Yeah,
but I will say it's slightly less noisy. It's slightly less noisy this time. We've had probably maybe at least a little bit more rest.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we were all drinking a glass of water, I think, last time because we we were in between that break.
At that point, we were
between the two sessions, so just thinking like, cool, okay, now's the time to regroup and rehydrate and stuff. So but this is good too. I mean, I hate technology, but we've managed to make this work, which I'm so pleased about. Thank you so much for having me back. It's great to be with you guys again.
Did it? So. Yeah, for anyone that sort of doesn't know you and it doesn't know where you're from, give a quick recap.
So my name's Kelly. I'm from Good Chemistry Brewing in Bristol. I run that with my partner Bob. We've been going for 8 years, and there's actually now 9 of us at the brewery. So we've increased by 1 person since we spoke in June. And we say that we're about creating good chemistry in its broadest sense. So it's not just about the quality of the beer that we produce, but kind of using that to allow us to celebrate community and relationships across a wide range of things like science, the arts, music, food, social experiences, as well as beer and brewing. So, we brew a really wide range of beers and we've got a couple of pubs in Bristol and stuff, and we're just kind of about, the wider things around that come with the community of beer. So that I guess.
When I came to pick up some beers, one of which is for the episode that we're going to talk about, I realised that. So for anyone that sort of listens, and I've said it before, I've got an office in. It's not my office, but my company's office is in Bristol, and I was recently down there for work, and I hadn't realised until after the East, it wasn't even during the East Bristol Brewery Trail, it was actually probably about 2 months after that I realized just how close you guys were to the brewery was to my office.
Okay.
And I didn't even realize, and it wasn't even until I was like, I'm gonna go pick these beers up, that I really realized how close you were. 10-minute walk. I was like, you were so helpful. You were like, here's the park here and do this, and I was like, I'm en route. I'm a 10-minute walk. I'm en route.
So I think we've been going since 2015, and when we first started, we're in a kind of community of other breweries within East Bristol. So we're about a 10-minute walk behind Temple Meads, and when we first started, we did kind of think, we're quite away from things, like the buzz of kind of King Street where Small Bar and that sort of thing is. And we started the East Bristol Brewery Trail in April. So we run it the May Bank Holiday and the August Bank Holiday twice a year, every year. We started in 2016, and we had been selling beer for sort of, 4 months at this point, really, really new. And we run it with, there's more breweries now, but it started off being Arbor, Dawkins, Good Chemistry, Left-Handed Giant, and more. And we're all within a couple of miles of each other that you can walk really easily or cycle. We get a lot of people cycling as well, but kind of on off-road on cycle paths and that kind of thing. And when we first started sort of drawing people towards us for the East Bristol Brewery Trail and then other events and stuff as well, it was a bit of this kind of, where are we going? being drawn out to dodgy industrial estates in a weird part of Bristol, and now it's kind of become much more sort of normalized, I suppose. And most of the breweries, nearly all of the breweries, have tap rooms that people go to, most weekends of the summer, if not the year anyway. We're not just open for the two events, East Bristol Brewery Trails, and people are much more used to sort of coming out and doing these weird things. So yeah, it's a great kind of community to be part of in that area. Yeah.
I'll follow up to say as well, like when we spoke last at obviously the craft beer festival, you told us, like, you were like, oh, the next trail is the bank holiday weekend in August, and I was like, I think I'm going to try to go to that. And after that, I managed to convince my husband. We booked an Airbnb. And I did it. And it was really, really fun.
Yeah.
It was really simple. We took the dog around. There was at one point where it was really like super heavy rain and you just see people running by. But that was like part of the experience. That was like, it was fun. And the food was so good. I had like an amazing grilled cheese at yours. Like it was so good. It was I forget the name of the grilled cheese place, but they were based at, like, they were parked up outside yours, and it was oh my god, an amazing grilled cheese.
Big shout out for Mice and Men then in that case. Yeah. Yeah, really good. I mean,
it was good.
Part of the brewery trail is that it's this kind of collective thing, but all of the breweries sort of do their own thing for it. So a lot of people have a lot of the places have have DJs. Some breweries sometimes have live bands, and we all get different kind of food traders to come in, and everybody kind of just does their own thing, but we kind of all draw together for the weekend to put this on. So yeah, we're really excited. Hopefully be doing it again next year, because obviously we had a 2-year break over COVID, and so yeah, it's really great to be back. And and we get people coming from all over Bristol, and it's not necessarily just a beer event either. It's kind of it's a community event, and people come from all over Bristol for it. But also we do get visitors like you who come from out of town as well. So yeah, it's great.
Yeah, and my friend he's moved like much closer to like where you guys are as well, and his new place he can have like dogs there as well. So it's like, we are definitely going to come and stay with you next time. We'll take the dog, and it will be really great. So yeah, really definitely recommend to people. I'll definitely be doing it again for sure. So
great, we look forward to seeing you.
I couldn't go.
Well, you have to come as well, Joe. Come on.
Right, I'll have to come to the next one. The problem is the August
She was
one,
trying.
I was trying, but the August one falls when we always do our Hallertau tour. So I'm always in Germany.
You were in Hallertau.
So I'll be quiet because I was in Germany.
She can't really complain, can she?
It is a difficult one,
Germany,
because we do know that we do them on the bank holidays, so that the Sunday can be kind of as big a day as the Saturday. But we do understand that people are often doing things on bank holiday weekends. So sorry for those people who it's always falls on the wrong weekend.
I might be able to make the May one though. We'll see how we can do about that one.
First May bank holiday, that will be.
Get in the diary now.
So, yeah.
Watch this space.
Yeah.
But actually, that's not why we're here today.
That's
Joe,
right.
do you want to sort of lead Kelly into why we're here today?
We're talking about, it's quite nicely all joins together, because talking about community, we're here to talk about this beer. We're here to talk about All Welcome, which is the beer that you brewed for She Drinks Beer's second birthday. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So She Drinks Beer is an initiative that I started in November 21, so kind of as we were sort of coming out of lockdowns and stuff. And it's basically our regular evening at the pub for women who enjoy beer. So we've got 2 pubs in Bristol. We've got the Good Measure in North Bristol, which is coming up for its 5th birthday. And then this time last year, actually, I think tomorrow, so we're recording this mid-November, and I think tomorrow will be a year since we reopened the King's Head in central Bristol. So yeah, very exciting. Thank you. We've been running this for 2 years now, mostly at the Good Measure, but we're going to start kind of alternating it between the two pubs. And yeah, so it's a regular evening at the pub for women who enjoy beer. So it's just about kind of getting more women to the pub, and kind of aiming to disrupt that traditionally male pub space, really. So the pubs are always open and inclusive to everybody. So everyone is always welcome. It's not ladies' night. That nobody is not allowed to come in. We're open to everyone, and obviously, that includes transgender, non-binary, and gender non-conforming as well. It's just about disrupting this traditionally male pub space. So, yeah, it's just about kind of getting more women to the pub, because when was the last time that you were in a pub and it was predominantly other women? So yeah, so I set it up because we've always run events where we've aimed to kind of work with women and kind of open things up to women. As I'm a woman brewery owner, and I kind of see it as a bit my responsibility to kind of put my hand up and be quite visible and vocal in saying there are women brewery owners and brewers and women who work in all sorts of aspects of beer and brewing, and sort of supporting and promoting that kind of thing. But I'm not a brewer, so we haven't brewed International Women's Collaboration Brew Days, for example. But I run events, so that's one of the things that I'm good at. So we've always done that, but they've always kind of been sort of like one-off things. And I wanted to do something that was going to be regular and kind of recurring. And so if you can't come this month, it doesn't matter, because there'll be one along next month or that kind of thing. So yeah, so we've been doing that for 2 years now, at the Good Measure. Last summer we ran taproom editions as well, down at the Brew taproom. We were part of Women on Tap Festival earlier in the year as well, so we ran a special one at the King's Head for that. And now we are going to kind of we're alternating it between the Good Measure and the King's Head each month. To try and kind of widen, who is able to come, because the Good Measure is kind of a community pub, a kind of residential in a sort of suburb of Bristol, so a bit more difficult to get to. Whereas the King's Head is, super central, right next to Temple Meads, much easier for people to come to. So yeah, so that's kind of what She Drinks Beer is really. It's really straightforward. It's not committee, it's not asking you to join anything, it's not political. It's honestly just about women in the pub. You don't even have to drink beer if you don't want to. Obviously we encourage that though. Yeah, that's it really. Yeah.
That's amazing. I think it's quite important as well, like where you're in this community, like how you said, put your hand up as a female brewery owner. Like what's really important as well is you're in a community of people. There's a lot of breweries too, and I feel like that is quite impactful to be like, you're in this where there is quite a big beer scene.
Yeah.
That it really does make a difference to just be like, because I think it's not that it doesn't make a difference if you're sort of isolated out on your own or anything like that, but there's almost like this community that's already kind of like built there, and it's helping to encourage that existing community to be like, well, if you felt like you couldn't participate in this community before for whatever reason, well, come on down, you can definitely participate. Like the post-COVID thing, it's like COVID's done, now feel like you can. It's not done, but it's we're 2021, like let's go, come out here, you are more than welcome, everyone's like more than welcome, and I think that is like a really big deal.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah I mean it was like you say, important to kind of get people coming out again, and I kind of wanted to see it as it's like my kind of once a month thing to book a thing in where it's like, yes, this is a time where I'm definitely going to go to the pub and and see certain people and meet up with people, and that's that's what I would like for people to do. So my colleague Lauren and I always go, and so you can come along and you can come and hang out with us. If you want to meet new people, you can do that, or you can just come with your women friends and sit over there, and it can be your time to kind of to get together and meet up. Or you can come on your own and sit in the corner and read a book if you want to. Like that's a cool thing as well, whatever you want to do. Or come with your partner. You know, if you have a partner who doesn't fit into She Drinks Beer, doesn't matter. Everyone is welcome. And it's just about kind of changing that dynamic a little bit. Yeah.
Love that.
I love that.
I wish I was so much closer so I could come.
I'm very thankful that I do have like Bristol that like as an office, so that I can try to coordinate. Unfortunately, I'll talk about it. I'll talk about it when we get to that. Unfortunately, I was meant to go to the brew day, got COVID, and then was meant to go to the event and was not particularly well that day either. But we'll talk about that. Let's crack open the beer because I really want to drink it.
That's the point. It doesn't matter because just come to the next one or come to another one. You know, it doesn't matter.
There's another one. Yeah, and that's it. There's another one.
Yeah.
I was gutted, but exactly as you said, I was like, well, there's always another one, so I can go to the next one.
Exactly. Yeah, please do. You're so welcome. Yes? Okay.
Smells so good. Just from
going out as well. Ooh.
I've put it in my teku because I want to feel fancy. Oh, the colour's beautiful as well.
Right, great. Well, cheers.
It smells. Cheers.
Yeah. Cheers.
It smells beautiful.
It does smell beautiful. It looks beautiful, smells beautiful.
Oh, great.
Yes.
Oh, it's so easy drinking. That's really like just lovely, fruity,
So
easy drinking
lovely.
beer.
Thank you. Yeah, we're really pleased with it. And the
So-
feedback this year has been great as well.
For the people wanting to know what it is and what we're drinking, it's a 4.4% pale ale. Do you want to tell us more about it? Because
That's
it's
it.
on sale now. You can go buy it.
Yeah. So this time last year, you know, we were coming up for a year of She Drinks Beer, and we wanted to celebrate that. You know, we wanted to kind of to commemorate it in some way, and so we ran an open brew day, and you know, and we developed this beer, and we wanted it just to be kind of super accessible and enjoyable, you know, like She Drinks Beer itself. So yeah, so we created this beer called All Welcome. Yeah, so Citra and Motueka are the hops that we use. So they give all of those kind of, you know, grapefruit, citrus, lime, tropical flavors. And, you know, we talked around different beers that we could do. And in the end, we did, you know, settle on something just super easy drinking, because if you're trying to kind of encourage new people to get into beer, then you need to have something that they're going to sort of, you know, be able to work with, I suppose. So yeah, and then so we brewed, you know, we were coming up to the second anniversary this year, and so we did an open brew day again. So we've had last year we had slightly more, but we had around 30 women, you know, beer loving women from across Bristol come and join us on the brew day. So, you know, we had people who've been to She Drinks Beer before and were interested. We had some women from local camera ladies group, and then we also had a lot of women who work in the hospitality industry. So we kind of, you know, we didn't really open it up to women from other breweries, because this is the thing they do kind of every day of the week. It was to make it a kind of more accessible and kind of open brew day for people who don't normally see kind of what goes on. And, you know, and we asked the question, who has been to a brew day before? And hardly any of these women sort of said, oh yeah, I have. And so it's about sort of, and you know, and a lot of these women are working with beer every day, and they're selling it to our end customers. And so to have them sort of able to sort of see what goes into the process after all, and kind of, you know, get stuck in and that kind of thing. And able to ask questions as well, and, you know, taste the malt as it goes into the mash tun, and you know, give the mash tun a stir, and then, you know, see what the hops look like. We use pallet hops, and so they're able to kind of see those and touch them and that kind of thing. And then obviously, inevitably, even though you tell them not to, somebody does want to taste some of the hops, and they're just disgusting.
Someone
So,
always does
someone
it.
always does. And, and they take one for the team, because then everybody else is like, oh, right, wow, after the face that she made, I'm not going to try those. And so, yeah, so it's just kind of, it's just a really, it's a really great thing to do to get people like that involved. And then the beer can then kind of go out across all of these women-led venues in Bristol as well. And you were drinking and you were serving a beer that you've actually had a hand in brewing. So yeah, it's really great. And we had as well sort of women who work in other kind of food and like other drinks industries as well. So we've got a few distilleries in Bristol, and we've had women come along who work in distilling and want to see what goes on in brew day. So yeah, so that's kind of it. So we've called it All Welcome, and yeah, it is available now. Yeah, so you can, it's out across Bristol. It's on our web shop as well, on taps in Bristol as well, and then yeah, across the country. I can't really. I'm not sure kind of where it's gone or anything, but a couple of places to give a special shout out, if that's all right, is Hop Hideout in Sheffield. Jill's incredibly supportive, and she's taken the beer. And then also the Green Goddess pub in London as well. So that's super exciting. Those guys are really, they're really kind of behind sharing what beer is and how it's made, and kind of being a bit more educational about it, and that's really important to us as well. So yeah, thank you to those guys. But yeah, there's not very much left either, so yeah, I would say get in quick if you do want to try it. But if not, if you miss out on it, maybe we'll do it again next year, maybe.
Well, that's it. It's something that you then have to look forward to and plan for next year.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Definitely
so yeah,
get it, because it's like pillowy, soft, fruity. Oh, it's so good.
It's just easy drinking.
It really is. Yeah, and we've had like just some really lush feedback this year. So particularly our pubs manager has been saying, yeah, everyone's been loving it. And then we've had other customers who've sort of said, yeah, it's flown out, or can we have another keg, because it's gone so quickly. So yeah, so thank you so much to everyone who has been supportive of the beer and bought it, and and also of course to everybody who comes to She Drinks Beer every month. It takes quite a lot to sort of keep it going, month after month. But seeing, people who come back regularly, and then also always seeing new people is brilliant. So yeah, I hope we can get you guys up there sometime. It would be great.
Yeah,
I know.
Like, it's on the list. We've just
I know.
Get ourselves.
Well, you're a long way away.
So busy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't really realise how far it is away, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I'll organise a trip to Bristol. I'm like, oh, that's a long way.
How far away is Bristol to you?
To me?
Yeah.
Good 3
or 4 hours.
3 to 4 hours.
Oh really?
Yeah,
so
I'm all the other way. I'm all the other end, and then I've got to go out that way. Like everywhere I go, I have to go around the M25, which is
nobody likes doing that, do they? Yeah.
If I want to leave Kent, I have to go around the M25. So
yeah, I'm only an hour and a half away, but I mean, I guess to be fair, it's probably like 2 hours, because like once you start getting like heading towards central Bristol, that's like a solid like half hour to like drive in there. But like yeah, I'm really gutted, because obviously I was going to come in podcast. Joe wasn't able to sort of go. I was going to go and I was going to podcast. It was going to be really good on the brew day, and just sort of like get to see like why all these people were so passionate about being there, and like had they brewed before, and it was like going to be this really, really great thing. Planned it, had it all put together, and literally all my stuff was packed, ready to go.
Okay.
And then I was like, I'm not feeling particularly great. Like, this is not good. Let me just, I was like, before I go be around a lot of people, let me just really quickly do a COVID test. And yeah, I was COVID positive, and I was like, I don't think I should be going. And that's what I messaged you. Like,
thank you.
I'm really sorry for the last minute notice, but I don't think you want me to share this with everyone.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then I was gutted because I was obviously going to go to the launch, but I was in training all day. I started to feel a bit not great, and then obviously, as you were saying, like where the good measure is from the hotel that I was at, and I was going to be traveling there, like sort of alone. I was like, I think I probably don't want to get people sick, and B, I just should probably go to bed. And I went to bed at like 10 o'clock that night.
Yeah.
It was pretty bad. It was a really, really early night. But to your point of saying it's not just necessarily for women, like I invited one of my male colleagues and his partner to come meet me there, and they were fully like getting ready to go to meet me there as well, because I was like, it doesn't just have to be female identifying people,
Exactly.
but your partner will have a good time, and also like you can come and mingle and see what it's like, and so I think I've got their buy-in for the next time as well.
That's
so
good.
Next time we'll go together.
Okay. That sounds good.
I really enjoy like the educational element of this as well, because I think like I see it a lot where if people are like, oh, beer's easy to make, like it's easy to brew, like when they're like right, yeah, there we go, and we all know, having done it, that it's not true. But there are people who just they sit there and that, like if you don't want to brew, you've never done home brewing, anything like that, that's cool. But then to be like, oh well, the brewer should do this, or it should be like that, when you don't know what goes into it. And I don't like, it's that if you can see it, then you can be it thing as well. Like we have some phenomenal women in breweries around the country, but we don't see them as much as we do men in the breweries. So being able to come and see that and see what actually happens is so great whenever it happens. Thank you so much for making that a possibility for people. Like, so brilliant.
Well, yeah, like I say, I mean, I do think that it is part of my responsibility of the job that I have, which is, owning and running a brewery, as a minority, is to say, you can do this, this is doable. And there are roles within brewing that are available to women across the whole range of that kind of work. I just think it's important. And and it is not just me who thinks it's important. Bob stands beside me, and he, this is part of our business, and it's part of how we choose to kind of stand up, and it's part of the our kind of core values as a business, and it's something that we impress upon everybody who works for us, and that goes for everybody in the brewery and all through the teams at the pubs as well. We have women behind the bar at the pubs, behind the bars at the pubs, I guess. And that's another important thing, is that you come into the pub, and as a woman you see someone who looks like you, and you do kind of feel differently, I think, and feel this is my place, and I'm allowed to be here, and that kind of thing. So it's important.
There's less intimidation, I think. Like there could be less intimidation to like when you don't know what you want, and you don't want to get in people's way, but equally you're like, oh, what if I ask a question and it sounds stupid? And when you have someone that you feel like you're like, oh, I can relate to this person on whatever level, even if it's just from like, it's not just the typical straight white male type figure, you can kind of feel a little bit more comfortable and confident, I think, especially if you just don't know, if you're very new in and you don't know, that can probably offer some reassurance there, where you're like, if I say, like, I probably won't be judged if I say the wrong thing. And not to say that the opposite would do that, but it's just this unconscious bias that you can have when you walk into that situation.
But I think I would also say that if you walked into one of our pubs and there was a man behind the bar, then I would like to hope that they wouldn't make you feel like that, either, because the important thing is that everybody is always welcome at the Good Measure, at the King's Head, at the tap room when that is open. That's part of our our number one kind of core value as a business, is openness, accessibility, and inclusiveness. And so it doesn't matter who you are when you walk into the pub, how old you are, what colour you are, what you look like, none of that matters. what matters is the service that you get given, and the welcome that you're given, and either you know loads about beer, you know exactly what you want, and you want to talk about the hops and that kind of thing, in which case our teams have the knowledge and the kind of access to talk about that, or you don't know and they will kind of treat you accordingly, but that's just to do with the way that you treat everybody. So it doesn't. Yeah, I would hope that even if you came into one of our pubs and there wasn't one of our amazing women behind the bar, that you would still kind of feel absolutely welcome. So
can confirm,
I
have been
love
to
that.
both, have various different bar folks behind there, and have always been treated very well.
Good.
Definitely went into an in-depth conversation about hops one day.
Okay, great.
So yeah, it's great. I love both of those
Good.
venues. They're so great.
Thank you. Well, yeah, like I said, we're just about to celebrate. So with the King's Head, next Friday we'll be celebrating our first year as custodians of the pub. But we have seen a photograph of the outside of the pub where it says circa 1660 on it. So we're going to be celebrating the pub's 363rd-ish birthday next week, because this is how long this pub has been kind of serving beer to the people of Bristol. So that's incredibly exciting. It's incredibly humbling for us, to be kind of part of this incredible story. So that's going to be next week, and then the Good Measure has now been open for 5 years, which and obviously we were closed for some of that, because we did go through COVID. But again, we're also incredibly proud to kind of have that pub, and for that to be such a kind of key part of the local community where it is. So it's very exciting, and it's exciting as well because the news is just kind of so bad around sort of pubs and hospitality and brewing and that kind of thing. And so so to still be here, and to kind of have the success and the love and support of our local customers, and and visiting people who come to Bristol as well is really great.
I believe 300 plus years, like that is insane. I love that. That is absolutely insane. That's a lot of candles. That is a lot of candles for that cake.
Yeah,
you're gonna want like an extinguisher to the side somewhere.
Yeah, I think maybe
that is amazing. And
no candles. We'll leave that to one side.
But I really like what you said as well about like when you said these people that didn't normally get to sort of like brew beer when they came to the brew day for this beer. It's like people that work places that serve the beers and stuff, and I think that is so cool, because like there is something that you feel so like proud when you've had a hand in helping like make something. So I can only imagine how some of these people, when they were trying to say like, oh, we've got this beer on tap, we've got this one, they could be like, I made this one. That has got to just be
yeah, I think so.
That's a great
I hope so. If we can get these people a little bit excited about a beer that they had a hand in brewing, then I'm really pleased with that. Yeah.
It's definitely a sense of accomplishment and pride. So going back to sort of like that brew day, how did you kind of decide that? Was it just like because you were saying, we want to do something easy drinking? Is that how you landed on this, like the pale? Is it just because obviously that's what you'd done before, that went down really well? Like what went into sort of the thinking behind that aspect? And then also like tell us about how that day actually, like when did people turn up? Like was it an early start sort of thing?
So I think we're kind of a year down the line from when we were sort of deciding about the beer about the beer itself, because we brewed the same beer this year as we brewed last year, because we were so pleased with it, and it was a one-off special, and we did want to we wanted to bring it back because it was so great last year. But I think, like I say, we kind of went through various sort of thoughts about where are we going to go, what do we want to do with this, and I'm a huge fan of dark beers, and obviously the time of year we kind of thought, should we do like a big fat stout or something like that. And then I think we just wanted it to be as kind of broad and like wide reaching and accessible, I suppose. That's the word that we keep coming back to, but that's really kind of where this whole thing is rooted. So yeah, so it's just kind of that really. And I will come back to the fact that I am not a brewer, so I didn't write the recipe. And I gave my input, but Bob and our brewers did kind of put the recipe together. And yeah, and I think it's got similarities with one of our flagship beers, Pure Optimism, because that's one of my favorite of our beers. And so I think I said, well, if it's a bit like that, I'd be quite happy with that. So yeah, that's kind of how we got there, I guess. And then in terms of the brew days, so obviously we've done the two. We did one last year and we did one this year. So we've run them on. So She Drinks Beer is usually the first Tuesday of the month, although we are coming up to January. So that one is going to be the second Tuesday of the month, because the first Tuesday is like everybody's first day back at work. So we'll park that one. But it's it's usually the first Tuesday of the month. So we have done both of the brew days on the Tuesday that She Drinks Beer then kind of is in the evening of, and then we launch it the month later on the following She Drinks Beer. And so I mean, we just kind of we just put it out there, and Ruth, our sales manager, just kind of talked to all of her customers, and particularly venues that she knew are women led, or kind of have a lot of women bar staff, that kind of thing. And and we just sort of invited everyone along, really. And it was just a normal brew day. So we started, I think this year we did start slightly later, to give us kind of a bit more of a chance to prepare. But we did have people arriving sort of 9 o'clock, which obviously, if you work in hospitality, is quite early in the morning. So kudos to everybody who did manage to turn up on time. And we mashed in. So there's a blog post on our website which's got a few photos on and stuff. So if you want to go and have a look at that, you
we'll
can
link that.
See what was involved. But we got everybody sort of involved in mashing in. Opening the malt sacks to start with. That's quite a satisfying thing, pulling open the string of those, I think. And then mashing in, and then stirring the mash. Our mash tun is quite low level and open, so you can give it a good stir and you can sort of see what's happening. And then we kind of we talked through what the rest of the brewing process would be. So we explained what all of the different vessels were, that kind of thing. And then, like I say, we weighed out the hops. So we explained what the different hops are and kind of the different characteristics of them. We tried some other malts as well. So the malts in the beer are kind of are light. So we've got we work with Simpsons, who we absolutely love, and we use their Golden Promise and then Golden Naked Oats as well, and some wheat in there. So we also dug out some dark malts and crystal malts and that kind of thing, so that the women on the brew day could sort of try, this is what different malts taste like. But also, when we brew a stout, this kind of chocolate one that you're tasting and roasted barley that you're tasting, we'll use those. But actually, the base malt, the majority of the malt that we use, even for a stout, a black beer that you know what that's like, and you've drunk those or you've served them or whatever, the majority of that is still this, very pale, light coloured, light flavoured malt. So we only need to use very small amounts of the dark malts even to make a black beer, explaining sort of those sorts of things, so outside of just what this beer was, to kind of to give people a bit more of a sort of rounded experience. And we weighed out the hops, and we chucked those in, and then obviously we dug out the mash tun as well, because the brewers were incredibly keen that they would have some assistance with that. And I think if you're not doing that every day or every week, then it isn't hard work, because it's fun, because you're doing this thing, this really hands-on, really manual. Our kit is not just push button, it's really kind of brewed by hand. And so it's fun, if you never get to have never got to do it before. And then we kind of we talked a bit about you know, who we are and what we stand for and what She Drinks Beer is and that kind of thing. And we, you know, and we had a few quiz questions where we talked about, I don't know, you know, how many beers have we brewed since we've been started? And don't ask me the answer to that because I can't remember now off the top of my head. But, you know, like those kind of things, and just kind of getting people sort of, you know, engaged with things and understanding things. So when we talk about the fact that we're a 10-barrel kit, and you know we're going to brew 1700 hectolitres or whatever it is, uh, so people don't understand what that means, you know. But if you say, well, what we're brewing today is going to be about 3,000 pints or whatever. Oh right, okay. Oh wow, they know that's quite a lot of beer. And so those, you know, it's about kind of bringing it down to a level that kind of you know, like ordinary people that aren't, you know, in with this brewing terminology and stuff can understand. So yeah, so that's kind of what we were aiming to do really. And yeah, and it's just really great, you know. It's really fun, and it's just, you know, I just think it's really important, and it's, you know, it's part of our role in doing what we're doing. So yeah, and we love doing it. Yeah, it's great. Anyway.
That's so good. I love that you showed the different malts as well, like not just for the beer you're brewing, and like,
Yeah.
and bringing it down, because even sometimes, you know,
I don't know it.
I air quotes work in beer now as well, you know, and like when people start talking numbers of hectolitres and brew kits and barrels and things, and I'm like,
of
big
course,
number means that's a lot of beer. That's what I know.
I do the same. I'm like, oh, that's a lot, but I don't put it into, like, I couldn't convert that into like a pint perspective.
And then you can visualize it. And then it makes that such a good way of doing it. I love it.
Yeah, and I think, you know, that's true. That's true, kind of not just with the women that we have visiting us, but within the brewery as well. You know, we have a lot of incredible people, but not all of them are brewers. Of course they're not, because we run a business. We need a number of people skilled in different areas. And so asking the brewers questions about, well, you know, what does that mean, or what's happened because of that, and you pick these things up, and the next time you need clarification on that, you don't say, what does that mean? You say, okay, and does that mean this? Because you've learnt it from last time, and you might still need to kind of tweak it or refine it or whatever, and you might need a bit more explanation, but you pick up more and more and more as you keep going. And so, you know, I think it's the thing of there's no such thing as a stupid question, you know, or the stupid question is the one that you don't ask, because you should always be asking and learning this stuff, and no one's going to think you're stupid for wanting to know more and wanting a better understanding of it. So so, you know, we still are always learning as well, but it's about kind of trying to then remember that and kind of apply it and kind of move forward, isn't it? So yeah.
I think the education piece is so important. Like as Joe said, I've definitely, like, I've been to the last International Women's Collaboration Brew Day that I went to at Double Barreled. It was like really great because they did have like all the different sort of like malts there as well, and it was just interesting. So obviously, like, for me, having like done the brew days before, I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. But like to see other people that had never done it before as well, being like, oh, and like it was really cool to see it from like a third party perspective, because I think you forget about the first time that you get involved in a brew day, and the first time you've kind of had that sort of curtain pulled up where you've seen all these different aspects and how to do things. And it was really cool getting to see people experiencing it for the first time. But yeah, I think that education piece is so big. Like, there's some people that still don't necessarily even realize that a lot of times it's like pellets for hops. Like, because you see photos of hops and they're like the as we think of them, not as sort of like the pellets. And so that's probably got to be quite an interesting thing to people as well for the first time.
Yeah, definitely. And even, I think, you know, even something as what we would consider to be as basic as malt. It's called malt, it's called barley, you know, like what is it? I don't really understand what it is. And so even just kind of at that level, I think is, like you say, you have to kind of remember to kind of bring it down to the level of the people that you're engaging with. And and that's another thing, you know, that comes back to this openness, accessibility, and inclusiveness as well. You know, we do kind of try to have a bit of a science kind of angle, and we do try to kind of be a little bit educational, like not in a preachy way, but just in a like, this is what's behind, the beer that you're
Yeah.
drinking. And if you want to know about it, we'll tell you. And if you don't, then no bother. Like, just go
They
to
just
the pub.
enjoy the beer.
But yeah, exactly. But if you're interested, then we'd love to tell you about it. So yeah, so it's all kind of tied up in that, really. Yeah.
Yeah. And I
I
suppose
feel
that's
like
quite interesting for like when you've got people from the distillery, because that like the first part can be quite similar
Yes.
until you get into the actual distilling and then the actual like boiling and adding hops. Like the beginning section is very similar when you're making distilled alcohol. So
Yeah.
I suspect
And
that's
they
really
are,
interesting for them as well.
familiar with the grain and
Yeah.
stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, but then kind of taking it forward and stuff. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I think it doesn't matter how many times I do a brew day, though. I always love digging out the mash. Like
Just-
that is there's two
need someone
things that
to
I
dig
can
out the
guarantee.
mash,
Yeah,
give her a
there's
shout.
two things that I can guarantee I'm always gonna love no matter how many times, and it is gonna be like digging out the mash. And Joe, if you had to guess what the second one, what is it?
Drinking the wort.
Drink.
Yes.
She
Yes,
loves
of
drinking.
course.
She
Yes,
loves drinking the
so
wort.
that's another thing that we did was with first
I love it
runnings.
so much.
Yes, because also you scoop out some of the first runnings and you explain, oh, this
Yeah.
is called brewer's breakfast because when you're on a cold brew day and you get to drink your your nice malty wort, and and passing that around. Yeah, of course, I'd forgotten we'd done that. That's also amazing because for somebody who knows what this bit is, to then
Yeah.
present them with this cup of warm first runnings, and it's just like, hang on, what? This is going to come from
Right.
this, and
Yeah.
also people's reaction is really interesting because some people really love it and some people hate it. Some people are like, oh God, no,
What
that's
is
like
this?
horrible.
Yeah.
But I like it. I think it's tasty.
I'm camp
Joy
love
loves
it.
Okay.
And the amount of people that like I've experienced like drink it and they're like, oh no, or they've like dumped out the rest of it, or like
Yeah.
Joe had some of it and then gave me the rest of hers, and I was
I'll
like,
give her the
thank you,
rest.
girl. Like, I'll take this.
Did you
This
chop
is
her off?
great.
What's
Yeah.
going on?
It's unnatural. I shouldn't like it that
Right.
much, but I really do. I really like the taste of it. It's great. But those are like the two things. Doesn't matter how many brew days.
Okay.
But that's cool. What is it like experiencing somebody trying that for the first time? Like, did you give anyone warning, or did you just go try this?
Yeah, I mean, kind of. You sort of say, well, it's warm for a start, so like be ready for that. But yeah, I think, it's just really interesting, like you say, to see people's reaction because they're used to beer being this, and then this is a warm, very sweet, completely different sort of flavour. So yeah, that's a really good one actually. I do like doing that with with new people. Yeah.
What do you think is next for She Drinks Beer?
Right. Well, immediately, the next She Drinks Beer is the 5th of December, and that's going to be at the King's Head, our central Bristol pub. So I mentioned that we're going to start kind of alternating it now. But do you know what? I don't really know. I would just kind of like to see more people kind of coming along, and I would like for us to better sort of publicize it, I suppose. We're a really small team at Good Chemistry, and most of us wear more than one hat. Certainly Bob and I do, and so I don't feel like I've kind of had the time or given it the time that I would like to be able to kind of just get more people kind of knowing about it and coming along, and and spreading the message that just come along and come and drink beer with us at the pub. And honestly, that's all it is. It's just a night at the pub for women who enjoy beer. Like that's all it is. So that, I think, I mean, obviously in March we've got International Women's Day. So I don't know if we'll do something around that. The first year that we were running it, that fell on the Tuesday, so we had She Drinks Beer on International Women's Day, which was great. And then last year we kind of like kick-started International Women's Day because we had She Drinks Beer the night before. But yeah, so I don't know what we'll do this year, and I don't know where we'll go with it, but it's just kind of growing organically, and more people are hearing about it. And thank you guys so much for the opportunity to let me come and sort of talk about it, and hopefully spread the word a little bit wider as well. We were part of Women on Tap this year, so engaging in other sort of wider initiatives like that would be great. We're involved with Pip at the Coven as well, so working with her on stuff would be brilliant as well, and just kind of using it as a platform to sort of support other women-led breweries as well. We always try to have, not just at She Drinks Beer, but our pubs manager is a great ally, and he is really kind of keen to support women in beer and brewing as well. Excuse me. And so we always have beer from either breweries run by women or with women brewers. And so so I think we'll just kind of carry on doing more of the same, I think, and hope that that's the right thing to be doing, and gets the message out there and stuff. So yeah.
I really enjoyed when we met up at the Good Measure and had all the homebrewers there, where we'd brewed the International Women's Day beer. That was a brilliant event as well. Like, just sitting in a room with other women who had brewed beer at home and just having those conversations. Like, because I've been to a few different like homebrew groups and things like that, and not any of them have stopped me from talking about my beer or anything like that, but there's just that slight, like, we were all sitting around and we all gave our beer out and we were all like, I don't know if it came out the way I wanted it to, I don't know. Every single one of us said it, but then when other people drank it, I was like, oh no, I'm getting this, I'm getting that, and it just builds that confidence up in you, because actually we all felt that way, but actually we didn't need to feel that way because we knew what we were doing and we're done. Like, having that was really brilliant as well.
Yeah, and I think there is a lot about sort of women supporting other women, and
definitely,
I think that that's really important. And it would be great to kind of have, just kind of kind of spreading the message, I suppose, and having the knowledge, and I think for the brewing industry in Bristol, there are a lot of women in brewing in Bristol, and it's not like I want this to be like a networking situation or a support kind of group or anything like that, but I do want it to be kind of something that the women who work in brewing in Bristol kind of see as theirs, and think that they can come along and talk to other people who do similar jobs to them, who they might not normally kind of get to be in contact with or whatever. So yeah, and that's a similar sort of thing with the the homebrew share that we did for International Women's Day. Giving women the opportunity to have those spaces is kind of what it's about, really. Yeah.
So good.
I just love the idea as well of what you said at the start, which is sort of like, if nothing else, like, it is that space where in your calendar diary, like, that is the one time that you're like, I'm going out, this is going to be my night out to the pub. Like, if for nothing else, it's like, that you are going to go meet up and be surrounded by like really lovely people on this night and get to drink really good beer. So it's something really positive to look forward to.
Yeah, so we're obviously have already started to think about dates for 2024, which is not surprising because it's mid-November, but is a little bit scary. And so all of those dates will be published on our website. So we've got the She Drinks Beer page on the Good Chemistry website, and the dates will be there, and and which pub it's at as well, because it will be the Good Measure one month and the King's Head the next month. And so so all of that information should be super accessible and easy to find. But obviously, if anybody is interested in coming along and has any questions, then just drop us a line, social media, or our email addresses on the website as well. So we'd love to hear from anybody, and and if people are feeling a bit uncertain about whether it's for them or whether they are brave enough to come along or whatever, then always just drop us a line and let us know, and Lauren and I will be there, and we've got the guys behind the bar as well, and everyone's always super ready to to welcome anyone who is brave enough to come along, because if you are coming to the pub on your own, it does kind of take a little bit of kind of being brave, but we'd love to see anybody, including you guys.
I'm definitely I like I said, I have like a really, because of work, I can very easily be like, I I'm gonna work from there today,
Great.
and then I've got the evening, and then I could just be like, I'll work from the office the next day as well.
Yeah.
So
Perfect.
yeah, definitely foreseeable future plans there. And I think when this episode comes out, it'll be just about 2 weeks, just slightly over 2 weeks. So this episode should come out on the 20th, I believe. So that's just about 2 weeks from, just over 2 weeks from when the next event will be.
Okay.
So people should get out there, mark it in your diaries.
Yes.
If you, as Kelly said, like if you're feeling apprehensive or you don't know, or sometimes the first step is the hardest step, because if you are going by yourself, it can be intimidating, and you could be like, what if no one talks to me? What if like that kind of stuff would go through my head. So just message and just be like, is there, or maybe even just put something out there. Is anyone planning on going
So
on this date?
We have a Facebook group as well. So, people have joined that before coming and then sort of messaged and said, I'm going to get there about 6 o'clock. And so, will someone be there and that kind of thing. And, and I'm quite happy to sort of, and also both of our pubs are so small. So it's not like you're not going to notice us in there.
You're not going to miss anybody. You're not going to miss people. You'll find them.
No, exactly. And even if Lauren and I sort of don't have like our branding on or anything, just go up to the bar and say, oh, I'm here for She Drinks Beer, and Janie or Iona or whoever is behind the bar will just point you in our direction, and we are absolutely ready to welcome you. So come along.
Amazing.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for coming on. It's been brilliant. The beer is beautiful.
Mine's basically gone.
Yeah,
so
Tori's
mine.
drunk hers.
Yeah,
it's gone.
So it's on. It's available on the web shop. It's available at Hop Hideout and at Green Goddess and all
other
reputable
places.
Chemistry.
Check around Bristol.
Make sure you get it because it's absolutely beautiful. Next She Drinks Beer is on the 5th of December.
Yep. At the King's Head.
Anything else you would like to? At the King's Head?
We'll share socials, we'll share blog posts, we'll do all that. But anything else you want to plug, anything else you want people to know about?
Do you know what? The only other thing is that when we talked in June and you talked about trying our barrel-aged extra special and we talked about extra special and then you didn't even pick one up, Tori. And I'm so gutted because I completely forgot. I know. But
I don't think I saw that on the list. I got Bob's best because I was like, I want the best bitter.
You need the bitter.
I was like, I'll get the best bitter. But then I looked through and I was like, oh, what do I want? But you also saw me making like decisions on the fly where I was like, 2 of those. 2 of those. I'm one of those. I didn't see that.
I completely forgot. So I just wanted to let you know that this one is also available on our website. So if you wanted to pick some up, or next time you're in Bristol, it's the beer that we are running like all through winter. We are going to make sure we don't run out of this one. So I did just want to like point you in that direction because it's that's another.
So I've got some. I mean, spoiler alert, we have a winter celebration party that's happening in Bristol for the company, and I may be staying overnight that night, and the bus back isn't until 11. So, and we get down there early enough, so maybe I need a pre-party trip to the brewery, 10-minute walk away.
What I'm saying
maybe
is
I need to pick some cans up.
Pre-party trip. Trip to the King's Head to drink it on cask is what I think.
Yes, and then follow up. And then follow up the next day with cans from the brewery. It's like Joe can feel included because we don't want anyone to feel left out. We are inclusive. I'll get Joe a can.
Yes. I was going to say that I'd seen that was coming out and we'd talked about it before and I was like, need to plug that. Definitely.
Yeah.
I think I just frantically, I literally ran down there, had a meeting to get back to, and I was like, I didn't even see it. Now I feel like,
it. But you got a Bob's best, so that's good as well.
And I got a plum. I got the plum porter.
Oh yeah,
so
collaboration. Yes, delicious. Great. Well, let us know how you get on.
I got you one, Joe. Don't worry.
Okay, good. I was going to say, did you get me one?
Then let us know when you're going to be back in Bristol and you can come and pick one of those up. But again, that's one of our it's just the perfect beer for winter. So you can pick them up on our web shop as well if you want to.
Yeah, and everyone else should as well, but not too many because I still want to be able to get some. So if you could hold off like a little bit, that'll great. And I'll just take the crowd of people in my team down. I'll be like, all of you, we're going to the pub.
Amazing.
Yes.
We look forward to it.
It doesn't take much to convince my team to go anywhere. So I'll be like, come on, guys, we're going. And they'll be like, we could do this cool, or we could go have a beer. Let's go. So it'll be all good. I'll see you in a few weeks' time.
Perfect. Sounds great.
Thank you so much for coming
Thank you so
on.
much.
It
You're
has
welcome
been
back
brilliant
anytime,
again.
please.
Yes, of
Thank you
course.
so much for having me. And yeah, thank you for giving us the opportunity to kind of talk about She Drinks Beer, and for being so supportive. Yeah, we really appreciate it.
I do enjoy talking to Kelly.
So nice.
Such good times, good vibes.
And it all really aligns with us really well. Like everything she said about She Drinks Beer felt like it really aligned. And did you notice on the back of it, it said pairings, openness, accessibility, and inclusivity as sort of the pairing notes. And I absolutely loved that. So the label's great. I love it. She was saying she's got so much. She was wearing grey at the start. So there was grey walls and she was wearing grey, but like the can's great. I love it. I love these vibes.
Matching. I love it. And I love that this is like, if you are not watching the video, it's lovely gold embossed. You can hear it.
Oh, I do like that. That is nice.
So
It's too drinkable.
It's too drinkable. It's so drinkable. Tori's had hers
It's
already.
gone, basically.
We'll link to the blog post. You can go and see some photos of the day if you're interested in that. Definitely go buy this because it is delish. I mean, just go and buy Good Chemistry beer in general because it's great.
They've got some really great, especially if you're in Bristol and you can go pick up from the brewery.
Or you can go to one of the bars and have some of it on cask. Do it. Please,
just do all of it. Why do you want? If you're there, why do you want? Do all of it.
All the things because it's great. Yeah, that's great. We're gonna have to start a leaderboard of how many times certain people have been on.
I think. Oh, you know what's
funny? I think
funny?
Emma's still winning,
but I don't know if by that much because Matt now has been on 3 times. I'm fairly certain it's 3 times he's been on. I'm fairly certain.
I think we've got like a big tie of several people who have been on twice now.
Yeah,
well.
2 and 3 times.
Yeah.
Emma, I think, is still
she's
top
still
dog.
in the leader.
But
We need to get her back on because she's not been in ages. So
yeah, it's true.
Right. If people want to suggest people that we should talk to, Tori, where can they tell you that?
Yeah, absolutely. Or if you want to meet up at a She Drinks Beer event, please feel free. I mean, I know Joe's quite a ways away, but if I can get the stars to align and I can work out of Bristol that day, you can reach out to me on adventures_in_optimism on Instagram, or you can email me and tell me your thoughts on this amazing, delicious beer and the great textured can that's there at adventuresinoptimism@gmail.com. Or you can reach out to both of us if you liked this episode, you want to do more of this topic, or there's a particular topic you want us to talk about, you can reach out to both of us on A Woman's Brew, and that is on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, or X, but we are probably not going to respond on there because I can't even get the name right anymore. Or you can email us at awomansbrewpodcast@gmail.com. Joe, if people want to talk to you about, I don't know anything, any of the thing, all the things, both of the pubs, because you've been to both.
Yeah, you can come and ask me about the pubs because I've been to both of them. You can talk to me about hops and malt and ingredients in brewing because I've done all of that. You can find me at my beer school, which is Love Beer Learning, and we are on Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, and Pinterest. But at the minute, I'm pretty much just posting on Instagram, so just come find me over there. You can also come to my website, which is lovebeerlearning.co.uk. There are some blog posts on there about brewing and malts and hops and International Women's Day and all sorts of those fun things. And I've been updating it recently, so go and have a read. Or you can email me, lovebeerlearning@gmail.com. I will probably answer you there and give you answers to your questions.
Well, they said probably.
I mean, I probably will. I don't want to guarantee it in case, because I may not be available to answer you right away. But I'd say 99% chance that I'm going to respond to you. Depends on what you're asking.
Fair. That's valid. On that note, I'm going to go finish the last mouthful of beer.
Yeah, finish this delicious beer. Cheers.
Cheers.